Did you know, sir, that if all men were fucking obliterated right fucking now, that women would feel so much safer and so much happier on Earth?
All right, so what do we have going on here? Well, what we have here is a young woman who, for all intents and purposes, is insane. She is out of touch with reality and needs a lot of help overcoming her emotional scars based on what we see here. Now, this could all be an act. I don't think that it is, though. I think that she's being sincere. Her anger and frustration at the situation is really coming from a place that is within her, not something that is being put on to entertain the masses. Now, don't go to her TikTok and harass her or anything. Don't do any of that. That's not going to help you. You can go there and be nice, be like, hey, I saw this video. I thought maybe you should try this. And I know I've not visited her TikTok, so I don't know if there are other videos like this on there, or other videos complaining about men and how men act. But let's, what we saw there was just a little sample. We're going to go ahead and watch the whole thing. What do you say? Prepare yourselves now, because it's pretty cringy.
For all the fucking men that say, have you ever thought maybe you're the problem? Have you ever shut the fuck up in your entire fucking life?
Based on your action here, your talking in this video, I would say that you've never shut up in your entire life. So,
have you ever thought that maybe you're the problem? Did you know, sir, that if all men were fucking obliterated right fucking now, that women would feel so much safer and so much happier on Earth? Did you?
Could you imagine being in a relationship with someone who would talk to you in this manner? When I was a personal trainer at the second gym I worked at, there was an attractive young woman who worked in I think she was in the sales department. And I had a second job when I was doing that job, working at a hospital. And one of the nurses was like, do you know so-and-so at that gym? I'm like, yeah, I know her. She's like, yeah, she used to date my son. And she would just be screaming at him. And obviously that relationship didn't last, because no man wants to be yelled at. No man wants to be talked to in a way that is degrading to him. Nobody does. No woman wants that either. People don't want to be talked down to. People don't want to be treated as if they are incompetent and incapable. Even if they are, they don't want to be treated that way.
You ever stop to think that maybe being emotionally unavailable is the fucking problem? Maybe try not being such a fucking bitch all the time!
Yeah, that's good advice. Are men saying this to you? If men are telling you don't be a female dog all the time, maybe the problem is you. And look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm a saint, I'm perfect. I've never talked down to somebody. I've never lost my temper with somebody. That is certainly not true. Believe me, I was very much like this young woman when I was younger. Hopefully you realize the error of your ways and you do better. That's all we can hope for with people, really, is that they do the best that they can. And hopefully the best that they can is really good.
I am so tired of giving chances, putting men on fucking pedestals just to be stomped on underneath said pedestal that I put you on.
Maybe it's the men that you're putting on the pedestal. And there's no context here. We don't know what these men have done to her. And I mean, if this is her attitude, or even a fraction of this negative attitude that she has here is her daily operating procedure, she's not somebody who's going to have a good interaction with men on a regular basis. It's just not going to happen.
Because you really ain't shit. I put you up there, buddy. The fuck? What? Actually, what? And I can't stress this enough. You're all fucking roaches!
Yes, men like being compared to vermin. Thank you very much for that. Look, and I'm not saying that men are exempt from this sort of attitude either. I mean, men do despise women. There are men who do that, I'm sure. There are men who think that women are not worth the effort that we put in. And we see this in the manosphere all the time. It's become really hard in modern times for men to date women. It has. And anybody who tells you otherwise is not telling you the truth. Now, before we go any farther, I want to thank everybody for stopping by and supporting my work. I do appreciate everybody who watches my videos. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed, because YouTube doesn't subscribe people every single day. You can find me on Rumble, Twitter, BitChute, Odyssey. So I want to take a look at another video of a young woman talking about how she doesn't need a man in a weird way.
The brads and chads on this app that keep giving me unsolicited advice, telling me if I just lower my standards, then I'll find myself a man. Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that when my kindergartners have set the standard so damn high.
It's called being an adult. You understanding that just because you are an attractive woman and your kindergarten students tell you that you're an attractive woman, that doesn't mean that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're still a human being. You're still a female human being. That's it. That's as far as that goes. You might be in the top 1% of those female human beings in this country. Okay, great. Go find yourself a 1% man if you can. If not, maybe find yourself a top 10% man, a top 25% man. We can look at these things. You can go to Keeper. Is it Keeper here? Let's take a look. Or we can go, actually, we'll go to female delusion calculator. All right, we got female delusion calculator here. Age. We'll do the minimum age range that we can. Let's just go take this 20 up. Okay, we'll do 35 to 40. That's a reasonable age range. Say you've sown your wild oats as a young woman. You're like, was ready to settle down at 30. Took me 5 years to finally figure out we're going to exclude married men. No, we'll leave married men in there. Why not? Any color or shade, okay? And we'll exclude obese. 80K? Okay, let's find out. 4.2% of the population is 6 feet tall and earns $80,000 a year, is between the age of 35 and 40. Let's go ahead and try a different new search. Why not? Just keep the same age range, okay? We'll exclude married men. Let's lower the height requirements. Let's go down kind of low. Let's go to 5'8", 2.7. Once you start cutting out married men, you cut your percentages in half, even if you increase the height range, the minimum height, 5'8". Most women are below 5'8". Most women want a man who's taller than 5'8", want a man who's at least 5'10". And we did any race. Imagine if you had race requirements, because I meet women who are like, I'm not interested in black men. I'm not interested in Asian men. And we have white, Asian, and black here. We don't even have Hispanic on here. We don't have Western Asian, like, or Arabic, or South Asian, as they might call. And that's 80,000. That's not really that high. Let's go down. Let's bring this down. 65, 4%. 4% of men are unmarried, 5'8" or taller, between the ages of 35 and 40, and earn $65,000 a year, and they're not obese. You have to understand that these percentages are really low. As it is, you're looking for a needle in a haystack. This does not include men who are mean, men who have girlfriends, men who are otherwise ugly. Like some women are like, I don't want to date a balding man or a bald man. Most women don't have that, but a lot of women do. It doesn't include these other, there's a lot of other categories, a lot of other exclusion that you can add into this list that's not here. On top of which, then the man has to choose you as well, because you're choosing each other. You're not going, well, I chose him. Haha, I won, I chose him. No, he has to like you too. You have to like him, he has to like you. It's a two-way street. So when you're getting in here, this is 4% of the population. What is really going to be left for you? 0.5%? Now, if you have a much larger age range, yes, that does change things. Let's take a look. Let's go. Okay, we'll go up to 45 and we'll go down to 30. Give us a 15-year spread here. We'll leave everything else the same. Find out. Okay, instead of 4%, it's 3.6%. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know how it went down lower. Because it was 4%, wasn't it? Did I do something wrong here? Let's go up to 35. Down to 40. Try again. That's 4%. How is that possible that it's a smaller percentage of the population than when you have a higher age range? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's 4% of the people in that age range. So the 3.6%, even though it's a smaller percentage of that overall range of ages, it's a bigger percentage of the overall population. That's probably what that comes down to. 4% of people between the age of 35 and 40, that's 6 years. 4% of them are in your criteria, meeting your criteria. So you can multiply 3.6 by 3 to get what that percentage would be if it was the 35 to 4, no, roughly 3, because it'd be 36. It had to be 36 to 40. That's 5 years, right? So let's say it's 9%. maybe 10% of the population. 10%. That's still a very small percentage. You're already looking at 1 in 10 men are going to be what you want. Only 1 in 10. And then there's going to be, again, ugly men that you don't want to, men who already have girlfriends, men who are just players, men who are stupid, men who are whatever, not interested in you. So that 10% is whittled down to what, 2.5% of the population in that age range, which is a very much smaller percentage of that population in general. Then you can go to Keeper. It's kind of interesting. I'll show it to you. We're not going to really go through it here. The reason this is interesting is because, look, you can, what percentage of men in the United States meet your standards? You can look for women. What percentage of women in the United States meet your standards? So you can do this as a man and then find out, hey, I'm looking for a very small percentage of the population, and I do like a wide age. Check this out. I'll do a wide age range here. So 22 is fine. 22 to 42. That's 20 years. Okay, great. She's 4'6" to 5'6". I'm gonna actually bring this down. I want a woman who's shorter than me. And I mean 4'6". Okay, we'll go up to 4'9". I won't do any income, any ethnicity, hair color, whatever, education, whatever, religion, whatever. Smokes, no. I'll say no because that's definitely a no. I had a girl who desperately wanted me. She was a smoker. And I know I've had people tell me, you know, you get into these relationships and then you're like, look, this is a deal breaker for me. Either quit or I'm gone. I don't feel like that's fair, but whatever. I'll do either. Exclude married. Let's exclude married. Exclude obese. Yes. Let's find out what percentage of the population I'm looking at. 1.46. 1.46. Look at this age range. 20 years. The height range. This is. Like, there are very few women who are tall. I mean, the percentage is between 4'9" and 5'5" of women. That's really. Oh, wants kids. I skipped this one. Let's go either. This will change things. Okay, I skipped that one. Still 3.4%. I lied. I said we weren't going to look at this, but we are looking at it. Oh man. So even for a man, there's just a small percentage of the population out there. 5,700,000 women in the United States. That's just not very many women. And if we watch this, if we change the obese, it's going to shoot way up. Watch. No? Let's find out. Oh, it didn't shoot way up, but it did go up. 6.4%. I thought it was going to be up at like 30%. It just depends, I guess. I don't know, because I'm wondering because I was playing with this and I was getting much higher percentages, but I had income in there too. Not 190,000. I was just doing like 20,000. Let's see what this gives me. Oh, see, it turns out I don't understand how going from 0 to 20,000 gives me an increase in the percentage. So I guess you should take these delusion calculators with a grain of salt. But the point is, look, there just aren't that many people out there for you that meet these basic criteria. That is crazy to me that there are so few people. Let's get back to the wonderful woman in this video, though. I do want to see what she has to say. No, I think she's very attractive. You tell me down in the comments what you think.
They come into my little art room, sit on the little rug, and shower me with compliments as if I'm the Queen of England. I have one kindergartner, anytime he sees me in the hallway, anytime he's in my classroom, doesn't matter the circumstance or how I look that day, he refers to me as beautiful teacher. He says, "Hello, beautiful teacher."
Okay, guess what? I've done all this stuff. I've been the guy who's like licking your shoes, telling you how wonderful you are and how much I want to be a part of your life and how great I think you are and how beautiful I think you are. It doesn't work. So who is the adult in this situation here? You want to be showered with compliments, but then if I were to do that to you, that's not enough. Or that's wrong. It's too much. You're only interested in me for my looks. You're only interested in me for one thing.
I've had a kindergartner tell me that I am the most beautiful woman she has ever seen in the entire universe. Granted, she's only 5, so she probably hasn't seen that many women, but still. Where is that energy from the adults, grown, age-appropriate prospects?
Would you go out with me, young lady? I don't know how old she is. I mean, she doesn't look very old though, right? She's definitely no older than 29, I would say. Probably closer to 25. You wouldn't want me. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. It's not like I got women throwing themselves at me. There was a time in my life, a period of time for years, where there were women like, hey, you and me, let's go. And I'll tell you this, guys. I'll tell you this one thing. This is the one secret that I found. I'm sure that having a full head of hair helps, and I'm sure that having a symmetrical face helps. Be athletic. Have a muscular physique. That's the one thing I can point to say, women want me for my body. That's really all they want. These women that I don't know, for the most part. Some of them are like, yeah, I want a relationship, or I am looking for a boyfriend, or long-term something. I do want to eventually have kids. But most of the time it was just like, wow, you're hot, let's go.
Because until that's the energy I'm getting, I'm totally fine with getting gassed up by kindergartners. Actually, it's quite enough validation.
Why do you need a boyfriend for validation? Why do you need a date? Why do you need a man in your life for validation? Is that what you women are seeking? I mean, this is a legitimate question. If there are any ladies watching this, if there's any men who can get a lady to watch this, and tell me down in the comments, please, do women want a relationship just for validation? Is that what they're looking for? I know that's part of the deal. I know that because one of my mentors over the years said, look, a woman is not a complete woman outside of a relationship. She has to have that relationship right there. That tells me that she is seeking an emotional connection with a man for her own well-being, her own mental well-being. I'm not saying that's right, but that seems to be what the case is. But it really, is that all it comes down to? Emotional validation? I want to move on to this clip here from Tim Pool.
Text meme. You guys know what green texts are?
Nope.
So basically, it's just a point-by-point story.
Okay.
And one guy is like, be fat, neat, not meaning not in employment, education, or training. They're like lazy, lay about, live with parents, decide one day to start going for walks, start feeling better, getting in shape, decide to find a job, go to the gym, meet a bunch of guys who start encouraging me and helping me, start lifting weights, getting fit. They ask me to go out to grab drinks with them later, meet a girl, have a girlfriend. Holy crap, this was so easy. You guys lied to me.
Yeah.
So Tim is wrong here. Well, that's a bit harsh. He's not wrong. Getting a job, exercising, being the best version of yourself, getting a group of friends, and going out and being around other people are all positive things you can do to improve your chances of finding a relationship, but it's not the whole picture. As we have learned with the first video I showed here with the young woman screaming at us, you need to learn to talk to the opposite sex, or whatever sex you're interested in. That is the number one factor. Really, that if you can't hold a conversation, if you can't have a positive social interaction with people, with women, you're not going to get a girlfriend. This was made clear to me in my life. When I was in community college, I was incredibly attractive to the point where women were following me around. Literally, I had stalkers. I remember one very attractive young woman, I caught her following me more than once. The first time she heard me open my mouth, she was talking to somebody that I knew, a man that I knew, and I had to say something to him. I had to, in the situation, I had to communicate with him. I was socially awkward, very much so, when I was younger. I was a D&D nerd. Played Dungeons & Dragons video games, watched cartoons, all that stuff. She never followed me around again. I never saw her show interest in me again after that. I just asked him one question. It's like, hey man, you know, that was enough for her to realize that I was not what she wanted because I was socially awkward. Enough. Recently, much more recently, example of this was I was at a coffee shop, and this guy came in. He was fumbling around, kind of. I could tell he was looking for a place to plug in his computer, and I was like, hey. You know, I was at the party table, and I'm like, yeah, underneath this table there are outlets, so just go ahead and sit here and plug in here. He's like, oh, okay. And we started chatting and stuff, and he's telling me about his wife was with him, and they were from out of town, and they were looking for a place to stay. They had rented an Airbnb, but when they got there, it had not been cleaned, and it was pretty nasty. Used prophylactics were part of the experience. So they're like, yeah, we're not staying here. This is not the place for us. And so his wife was in the car trying to figure out where they were going to stay, and he was in here going to the coffee shop trying to do some work because he was supposed to be working until 7 o'clock that day. And his wife, he was showing me pictures of her. I'm like, damn, she's hot. He didn't realize it. He had brought up a whole page on his computer of different pictures, and in a couple of them she was completely topless. I don't think he realized what he was showing me. I had good eyes though, because my artist background. So eventually she came in, and she was just as hot, if not hotter in person as she was in her pictures. But this guy was nothing. The only thing he had going for him was his height. He was probably over 6 feet tall. I didn't stand up and measure, but I'm sure he was over 6 feet tall. But she could have been a model. She could have been. He was chubby and he had nothing special going on in his face. Nothing at all. So they had met at an industry event. They were in the same industry. They worked, I think, for the same company. Even it might have been a company event. But they had met there and started talking. And talking was what did it for him. Obviously, there's no reason this woman could not have any man that she wanted. So how is it they got together? I mean, obviously, it had to be communication. It has to be his ability to communicate with her, because if she can get a guy who's much more attractive than him, why wouldn't she? It had to be something that he was offering her. Because they're working in the same industry, I think, with the same company, doing pretty much the same thing. So it's not money that she's looking for. It's communication. So learn to talk to women. That's really, you need to be able to strike up a conversation. You need to be able to carry that conversation. You need to be able to entice a woman with your words. That's the number one thing. Because you see this all the time. I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. Those of you watching this, you see some frumpy, ugly dude with some hot girl. This is not a new phenomenon for you. And sometimes you're like, oh yeah, the guy has money. Sometimes that you could say that. But there are plenty other times when you're like, I don't know what she sees in that guy. But it's how he talks to her. So learn to be an effective communicator. Something I still struggle with today myself. I'm not like Mr. Suave, Mr. Smooth. I just swoop in and be like, hey, sexy lady, you and me. So my wife doesn't really have anything to worry about because it's not a skill that I developed. If it wasn't for her being a foreigner. And that's the thing, if you guys want a girl, go to a foreign country, because the women there don't expect you to be great orators, especially if you don't speak the same language as them. They're a lot more forgiving. They're looking for a man who wants to be long-term commitment sort of situation. That's what most women in foreign countries are after. From what I've seen, at least half of them, at least like 50%. Depending on where you go to, it's going to be different. But let's do some dating profiles, because those are going to be fun. And we're going to further explore why it is that women cannot get a man while doing so. All right, we got Mallory, who's 18. It's a picture of an obese girl feeding a baby. So about Mallory, it says, double major in binge drinking and regrets. Well, you're only 18, so you haven't double majored in that yet. You haven't majored in anything yet. But if that's what you're planning on majoring in, no thanks, Mally, especially considering you're obese. No fat chicks. It's not allowed. What do we got next here? We got Melissa. She's 31. She's cute, but she has devil horns on in her picture. Are you at a costume party? Why are you showing us a picture of you with devil horns? That's not something that is conducive to long-term partnership. When I see a woman with devil horns, I'm like, yeah, next. So about Melissa, it says, I am a hermit. I do not like to laugh, and I love making people miserable. My walls are black, and I have no furniture. I often chant in candlelight while rocking back and forth on the floor. Is this sincere, Melissa? Because if it is, no wonder you're single. If you're a hermit, no wonder you're single. Obviously, I mean, my guess is she's joking. But this is not, I mean, is a man going to click on this thinking it's funny and then be like, hey, so I think your profile's funny. Let's get together and we can laugh. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking when they put this stuff out. The point is, maybe put up a sincere profile and you'll get better results. We got Allie. She's 21. She's really pretty based on her picture. Of course, that could all be filters and fake. About Allie, it says newly engaged but on spring break for a week. So what happens in Florida stays in Florida. Next, Allie, I'm not getting involved with you. I feel so sorry for her fiance. Man, the guy is, hopefully he sees this, figures this out, something, and gets away from her, because she's not a quality woman. This one doesn't have a name, but judging by what we can see in the picture, she's pretty cute. Maybe the rest of her face is hideous. I don't know. It says, I enjoy long walks on the beach with my boyfriend until the acid wears off, and I realize I've been dragging a naked mannequin around a Denny's parking lot for 12 hours. Pretty funny. But the thing is, are you getting the guys that you want when you put up a joke profile like this? Maybe she's getting the guys that she wants. She's probably getting a lot more attention than she wants, so she's going to put up some sort of joke like this and get less attention, or hope that she gets less attention. I don't know. I don't do online dating. I haven't done online dating in a long time, and so I can't talk about this. Amber, 26. Now, in Amber's picture, she looks much older than 26. She looks closer to 36 than 26, but all right, we'll go with it. Stop giving empty and overused compliments like cute and beautiful. Be different. Say, I want to motorboat your butt cheeks to Barry White. Do you want a man to motorboat your butt cheeks to Barry White? Is that what you're saying here, Amber? I don't... I'm not sure what to do with that. How about I motorboat your boobs instead? That might be just as fun, if not more fun. Yeah, Chloe, 22. I want to sleep with you. I don't mean have sex. I mean sleep together under my blankets with my hand on your chest and your arm around me. No talking. Just the muffled cries that you slowly let seep away from your blood-gurgling mouth as I slit your throat and sacrifice your worthless life to the Dark Overlord. Yeah, Chloe, I can't imagine any men are clicking on this profile. Are these real? This is crazy. First off, telling a man that he's worthless, that's a way to get with him. I'm sure all men like to hear how worthless they are. Women inherently have worth because they make the babies, right? We all know that one man can impregnate hundreds of women, thousands of women in his lifetime. So women inherently have value. Men don't. So telling him he's worthless is just going to drive a stake through his heart. So, and then telling him that you're going to murder him. Yeah, I bet you don't give me any clicks on your dating profile. Jade is 26. Can't see Jade. She has nice hair. About me, it says, honestly trying to find a stepdad for my dog. She's the cuter one out of the two of us. Absolutely no hookups. Well, that sounds reasonable. I mean, I see nothing wrong there. Okay, so you have a dog and you want to have a man in your life to help you take care of your dog. That could be fun. Dogs are fun, right? Then it goes on to say, I only date white firefighters, EMTs only. No exceptions. Well, that's going to limit your options. We already looked at how limited your options are earlier in this video. And now you're trying to find a firefighter? And ladies, if there are any ladies watching this, which I'm sure they're not, but firefighters get hit on the most supposedly out of anybody. Out of any men. Firefighters get the most interest from women. So if you want to be with a firefighter, be prepared for that. This is Naughty Fairy, and it says, I have made a decision to come out. As we know, humans are complicated and intelligent beings. We aren't always simple. I have been with 6 dogs this past year and only 2 men my entire life. I am trans canine. I just want friends and a crowd that accepts and loves and cherishes me. You are a sick individual. You know that, right, Naughty Fairy? Why are you having sex with an animal? Why are you doing something that a human being can understand the level of intimacy of? Human being can understand the connection that you can develop through this physical act. A dog cannot. Why is it that you're more attracted to an animal, to a species you cannot make babies with, than you are to a human? You need help. Serious help. No man is ever going to want you. No man in his right mind is ever going to want a woman who has been with an animal. That's just sick and wrong. And you clearly are not human, because you said that humans are intelligent beings, and you're not one of them. You're not an intelligent being. Lee E went on to reply to this saying, women will post this shit and then wonder why the entire planet and every major religion has imposed strict social restrictions on their sovereignty since the dawn of time in every place humans have ever lived. Yeah. This is exactly why women need to be kept under observation at all times by more rational individuals. You don't engage in this sort of behavior with animals. Okay? You just don't. And you don't sit here and brag about it for the entire world to see. That's just stupid. But what do I know? I'm just some guy who runs on the internet. All right, we'll take a look at this last one here. This is gold. This is the actress in is it Zendaya in the new Dune? I think that's who it is, Zendaya. She's playing the lead love interest, right? And Becca says, I'm yelling at her in my head, don't you cry over that jerk of a boy. Love her so much. And then Maddie Stone says, exactly. She deserves so much better. And up here in the upper right, there's a caption explaining the boy that she is upset about, or who's leaving her. Whatever. I don't know what happened. I haven't watched Dune 2. And I don't really remember doing one. So, but it says her boyfriend is a monarch. Her boyfriend is super rich. Her boyfriend owns the MFing planet you are standing on. Boyfriend is Space Jesus. Boyfriend has psychic superpowers. Boyfriend is good at hand-to-hand combat. Boyfriend has his own army. Boyfriend rules over titanic monster worms that can destroy everything. You deserve so much better, girl. Yeah. Point being, women are never satisfied, no matter how good you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter what you are. It's just, look at, what was it? There was a footballer, American footballer, whose wife, Gisele Bündchen, was it, left him because he wasn't good enough anymore. Tom Brady, right? It was Tom Brady, pretty sure. That's the thing. It's like, you could be the best of the best, and the women are going to be like, I want more. I want different. I want something else. This is what happens when we allow women to have free reign, when we allow women to have total autonomy. These women don't realize that. I mean, they're going to cry and scream about the patriarchy and how it's holding them down, but women are doing better than men are these days. Women are better off than men are on average. But what can you do? They're going to complain about it. They're going to be like, oh, look, I don't have as much as a man does because I'm not a man. I walk out and the world hates me. Oh, it's terrible. Whereas when a man walks outside, everybody loves him. Yeah, okay. That's what happens. Believe me. I've lived my whole life in that way. Trust me. So anyway, I want to go over some dating stuff and how the world's gone crazy because of wokeness. Dating is ruined because of wokeness. Dating is ruined because of feminism. So anyway, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.